We have lots of fantastic craft books in our library collection, like this one. This is Arm Knitting, Chunky Cowls, Scarves, and Other No-Needle Knits by Linda Zemba Burhans. Arm knitting is really cool because you can make a scarf or something like that with just a little bit of yarn and your two arms. So to show you an example of the kinds of things that you can make, here's a really big woolly scarf. Or you can make more like a fashion scarf depending on the yarn that you choose. So today we're going to do something in the middle and I'll walk you through the steps. Okay, so when you're choosing your yarn, you want to pick something that's fairly bulky so that when you knit it up, it has enough weight to it. So you're going to start by finding the tail of your yarn, and you want to leave enough of slack at the end. So take a couple of arm lengths before you make your loop to start. So starting here, what we're going to do is make a slip knot. So to do that, you're going to wrap the yarn all the way around your hand and then pull the loop up through. If you want to check that you've done it correctly, it should just pull right out without having a knot on it. So let's do that again. Wrap the yarn all the way around your hand in a circle and then pull the loop through. That's your first stitch, and you're just going to put that onto your wrist. You're going to want to make sure that you don't have any jewelry or sleeves or anything in your way before you start. And now what we're going to do is casting on. Now this is the most complicated part. Once you get it, it's really easy. For casting on, you're going to take your thumb and your forefinger, you're going to poke them through the V, the upside down V that the yarn makes, and you're going to grab both strands with your bottom two fingers and then pull this forward so that you've got a bit of a V shape. It looks almost like a slingshot. So now you're going to reach underneath the loop that goes around your thumb, and you're going to grab the loop that goes around your finger and pull it up through and slip it onto your wrist. So now we've got 3 stitches. So you're going to repeat that as many times as you need to get the number of stitches that you want. We're going to do 8 today, but the number that you do depends on how thick you want your scarf to be. So again, each time you're going to, thumb and forefinger are going to go in between your 2 strands of yarn. You're going to grab hold of both with your baby finger and your ring finger, and then you're going to pull this down. You're going to reach under the loop that goes around your thumb and over the loop that goes around your finger and pull it up through. And then just tighten it. You want to make sure that these are sort of snug on your arm, but not so tight that you're not going to be able to get them off your hand when you go to knit them back and forth. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need 1 more. And now we're ready to learn how to knit. So from now on, you're not really worried about this end piece. We're going to be just working with the yarn that goes to our ball. So you're going to hold on to that yarn with the hand that has all your stitches on it. And you're going to pick up your first loop, take it over top of your hand, and then the yarn that's in your hand is going to go onto your other wrist. And then just sort of tighten everything up. Adjust it so it's a little bit snug around your wrist, and you're going to do the same thing. So you're always holding on to your yarn with the arm that has all the stitches on it, and then you're slowly moving the stitches onto the other wrist. So just show you that a couple of times. So lift it over, that creates a loop which goes on your other wrist. Takes a little getting used to, but once you have it figured out, you'll be able to whip out a scarf in half an hour. There we go. So when you get to the end, now all your stitches are on your other arm. And all we do is basically the same thing going back the other way. So my stitches are in my on my left wrist right now, so I want to hold on to the yarn with my left hand, and then I'm going to use my right hand to pull the stitch over, and then put the loop back onto my right wrist. So always remember to hold on to the yarn with the hand that has all the stitches on it, and then it gets moved over to the other side. Okay, so my stitches are moving right now from my left hand to my right hand. So I'm going to hold on to the yarn with my left hand, lift the stitch over, and then slide the loop onto my right wrist. So now we have 2 rows of stitches. If you look at this side is the right side, this is what it's going to look like when you wear it hanging. But if you turn it over and look at the wrong side, you can see the rows. So we can see we've got 2 so far. And all we do is keep going back and forth until we get our scarf to the length that we want it to be. Okay, now you're going to make yours a lot longer than this, but for sake of time, I'm going to end it here and I'm going to show you how to do your cast off. Basically, you're going to do the same thing that we've been doing for the first 2 stitches. So you're going to take 1 over, 2 over, and then you're going to take that first loop that you just did and you're going to lift it over top of the other one and let it go, just kind of tighten it up. And then you're going to do another stitch, and then take the first one, take it over and drop it, and tighten it up. Knit 1 more, take the first one over the second one, let it go, tighten it up, knit 1 more. That one over the second one, let it go and tighten it up a little bit. Knit another one. So you're just doing them 2 by 2 and dropping one over the second one. So when you're down to 2, you're going to take the second one, drop it over, and then you have 1 loop. You're going to, at this point, you're not going to have very much yarn left. If you have more than you need, you can cut it off, but leave yourself a little bit of room to sew it up. I'm just going to tuck my whole ball of the yarn through. So you're just going to pull it through, and you get a knot, and now you have 2 finished edges. You don't have any open loops left. Okay, so now I'll show you on my mostly done one how to sew it up into an infinity scarf. So here's the one I knitted completely. You'll notice it has a right side that looks like this, and the wrong side, it sort of curls into its wrong side, and on the wrong side you can see all the rows of stitches. What you want to do is lie your scarf out so that the right sides are lying on top of each other, and you want to match up the ends to try to line up the stitches. You started with the same number as you ended with, but sometimes it's a little tighter on one end than it is on the other, so try and line them up as best you can. And then you're going to take your tail ends that we have at either end, and you're just going to use those to sew the scarf together at the end. You don't need a needle for this because it's such a chunky long strand, so you're just going to tuck it back and forth through the ends. I like to make a little bit of a knot right on the corner edges so that they stay together nicely. So tie that into a knot, and then just keep tucking it back and forth to sew the end together. So I've gone all the way down one side, and then at the end I'm going to meet up with the other tail end that I had, and I'm going to tie those two together just to secure that corner too. And then you can just sort of weave the ends back towards the middle so that they're not going to be visible when we trim them off. Your other end and do the same thing. Once you have both of your extra ends sort of in the middle, you can give them an extra knot together just to secure them. And then you can just cut those off. And when you turn your scarf back to the right side, you have a lovely infinity scarf that you can wear straight, or you can double it up like so.
Perfect. That was